Excellent. Up, up. Shanatova. I'm now Mike, so everyone can hear you. Shana Tova, Happy New Year, everyone. And Bruchim Habayim, welcome. Before I begin, I have a couple of very brief announcements to make. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones to add to the sanctity of our spiritual space here. I'd also like to invite you very quickly just to take a moment to look around and locate our exits. There's an exit right here that's marked by our choir. They're the exits that we came in to the sanctuary, and there's actually one, there are two there in the back that have big exits and signs on them in the back of the sanctuary in the unlikely event of an emergency. As we pray, if there are tunes that you are unfamiliar with, we encourage you to listen, to sing along as you feel comfortable. If there are words in Hebrew you don't understand, feel free to peruse the English translations directly below. We also encourage you to sit and rise as you are able. Throughout the High Holy Days, just as a note, I will be reading from a prayer book that has gender-neutral language. This will not affect the responsive readings or the page numbers. The intent is simply to invite in multiple images and conceptions of God. And it's also a helpful reminder that every English translation is an interpretation. This year, we're also introducing a High Holy Day melody for the Shema. The High Holy Day melodies help impress upon us the special sanctity of the High Holy Day season and set it apart from other services. For those of you who have honors this evening, this front row here that says reserved is for you to sit in directly before your honor, which the instruction should lead you to. I want to thank the so many individuals that made our High Holy Day season possible. I'm not going to list everybody because that would make the service twice as long, and I know that that is probably not something that people are wanting, but there's so many people who make this day possible. I'd particularly like to recognize Stephanie Pluka, who had entered a new process for High Holy Day honors, and the incredible ritual committee that does so many things for the temple behind the scenes. The cantor, our choir director, the choir who have put in so many hours to make this possible. And thank you to being here for our Erev Rosh Hashanah service, and for being a little patient as we work to make our congregation safer. I am delighted, humbled, and honored to share this moment of celebration with my new B'nai Israel family. I can honestly say that B'nai Israel feels like home, and that it is because of all of you. I will never forget your warm and enthusiastic welcome. I have a great love for this congregation, and my New Year pledge is to do my best to serve you with all of the compassion, enthusiasm, creativity, inclusion, and joy that is in me. May our partnership always be holy and sacred, honest and sincere. Amen. We're going to begin now with our service on page 17 with our candle lighting. I'd like to invite up my husband, Chad, and my two little guys, Solomon and Isaac. Here, I'm going to light this part.
Should I start reading while you're there? Sure. Creator of beginnings, as you created the world on this day, uniting fragments into a universe, so help unite our hearts and the hearts of all Jews to serve you. Illumine our lives with the light of your Torah, for by your light do we see light. Grant us this year a glimpse of the light of redemption, the light of healing, and of peace.
Amen. Please rise if it is your custom to do so.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner Shall
eternal God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season.
Amen. Please be seated. If they could only come out of their shell just a little bit, perhaps feel a little more comfortable in front of lots of people. We're going to turn now to a reading on our handout, page 1, the autumn night, this autumn night. The shades of darkness in the sky are signs of Earth's turning, the fleeting ways of nature. And we, drawn together in this holy house, filled with New Year's hopes and light, turn in our hearts towards you in prayer and worship, seeking life's essence. In the presence of your love, we feel the nearness of those who bless our lives, even in death. Precious memories of their love restore our strength, renew our faith in life's goodness. We acknowledge with gratitude the life you have given us, the bounty that sustains it, your comfort in sickness and sorrow, your compassion in valleys of despair. God of years, God of eternity, bless us now and always. Bless our homes and our families. Be with us in our dreams and in our hopes. Be with us through these days of awe, as we search our souls within and seek the lasting shelter of your love. We continue now back in our prayer books on page 18 with Hineni. You can do it from here.
Please rise. Hineni hayani mimas, nirash v'nifchad mipacha, Yoshev Tehilot Yisrael. באתי לעמוד ולחלל לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני אף על פי שאיני יחדי והגון לכך על כן אבקשך אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, ואלוהי יעקב. אדוני, אדוני, הרחום בחסד
In the English, we continue in the handout at the top of page 2 with the Hineni from Mishkan HaNefesh, the New Reformed Machzor. Hineni, here I am. Here I am, one soul within this prayer community. Like those around me, I bring my own concerns and yearnings to this place, hoping they will find expression in the time-hallowed words of my people and in the traditions cherished by generations before me. May I bring the best of my energies to these high holy days, approaching this spiritual work with open heart and mind, sincerity and sustained focus on the deep questions of this season. Who am I? How shall I live? Where have I fallen short or failed? This night I take up the challenge of the days of awe, Cheshbon HaNefesh, a searching examination of my life, a moral inventory of my deeds, words, and thoughts. During the next 10 days, let me face the truth about myself and listen to your still small voice, taking comfort in your promise that I am always free to change, released from staleness and routine. Let me know the joy of beginning again. May I gain strength as I share this task with those around me, united by my common purpose, Tikkun Midot, improving our characters, and Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. I now prepare myself to pray, one soul amidst this holy congregation. Please be seated.
We continue responsively on pages 2 and 3 of your handout with a year of blessing. My soul sings its prayer in the thin, sweet voice. Murmurs of praise dissolving in the season's hum and churn. We pray together for healing and renewal, yet a year's pain pass away. We call out together with pleasant words, with glorious song, our eyes straining to see what has nearly vanished. Let a year's despair pass away. My soul longs to rise. I still yearn to be freed from the house of bondage and to know the wonder and amazement of a world repaired. Let a year's brokenness pass away. Sacred melodies rise up like mist, and my soul desires reunion with its beloved. Let a heart's sorrow depart and its loneliness fade. Let a year's solitude pass away. Rest in comfort, O my soul. Find comfort in the one you desire. Blossom and bloom, grow ripe and full. Let a year's drought pass away. My soul sings its triumph in a vigorous voice, and it joins with 1,000 others, twining together in a chorus. With rhythm, our footsteps keep time as we walk toward a place of promise. Let a year's blessing begin.
Page 21 in our prayer book.
God of our people, hear our prayer. We who speak are Jews, remember. The bush you kindled on Horeb's lonely sand. That fire you lit to set the centuries aflame, and say to us your endless, perfect name. I am what I will be. It burns eternally now, that light upon our altars now against the night. And there are deserts still, we are the Jews, we do not forget.
Remember the words you spoke in stone and thunder.
The mountains smoked, and the dismayed multitude stood off, hearing the first time the words they could not refuse, fearing the burden and the God that set them into history. And there are mountains still, we are the Jews. We cannot forget. We come here then, but something far more deep compels the ancient desert dream we keep. A people touched by God, a certain grace that tells of you. We are locked with you in old identity, remembering the lightning of that place, something in us of your awesome will, something of that mountain's thunder still.
Love us as much as we will let you. We are your Jews. We will not forget you. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there shall be a sacred assembly, a cessation from work, a day of commemoration proclaimed by the sound of the shofar. Please rise. Sound the shofar when the new moon appears at the turning of the year, at the returning of our solemn celebration. For this is a statute binding on Israel, an ordinance of the God of Jacob. A preparation for prayer. If one prays with the tongue, but the heart is occupied with unrelated matters, one's prayer is like a body without a soul, like a shell that is empty of substance. To what may we compare this? It is like the case of a man who invited his employer to dine at home with him. The man charged all the members of his household to serve his employer and attend to his needs, but the man left the house to occupy himself elsewhere. So it is with us when we pray by rote, without concentrating on the words we utter. The Baal Habayit, master of the house, is our mind, which directs our eyes to look at our Siddur, our prayer book, our lips to pronounce the prayers, and our limbs to stand, sit, or bow throughout the service. But when our mind is elsewhere, what value is our prayer? May we enter into worship with kavanah, with attentive mind and focused heart, fully present at this moment of prayer. Our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, on page 24.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai le'olam va'ed.
Praise the eternal, to whom our praise is due.
Praise be the Lord,
To whom our praise is due, now and forever. We remain standing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim. There was silence and there was chaos. There was a voice. A mind went forth to form worlds. Now order reigns when chaos once held sway. The law makes evening fall. The law brings on the dawn. The moon follows accustomed paths, constellation their patterned ways. Sovereign is the will that orders the stars in their courses in the endless skies. Sovereign is that will. And how unyielding is the will of our people Israel. After the long nights, after the days and years when our ashes blacken the sky, Israel endures. Heart still turned to love, soul turning still to life.
So day and night, early and late, we will rejoice in the study of Torah. We will walk by the light of mitzvot. They are our life and the length of our days.
Praise be the source of life and love, in Israel, our people.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal is our God, the Eternal is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol
Levavecha,
levavecha
uvechol nafshecha, uvechol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, uvlechtecha b'derech, ושופך ופגומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
You shall love the.
Go ahead. We're actually going to sing it though in a second. Thank you. You're welcome. For those of you following along and you'd like to sing And You Shall Love the Lord Your God or The Eternal Your God, handout page 3. Diligently unto your children, and you will speak of them when you're sitting in your house, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. We continue now on page 27.
What does it mean to be
In the face of many, to stand for the one. In the presence of fragments, to make them whole.
What does it mean to be a Jew? You shall be a holy people.
To hold fast to our vision of truth, to retain our faith in tomorrow.
Holy in our past is the memory of redemption from Egyptian bondage.
Holy in our day is the hope of a redemption we still await.
Twice holy in our past are those who gave their lives to hallow this world.
Holy is the Jew today and tomorrow, who bears witness to the goodness of life.
And holy are those whose lives are songs in freedom's cause.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot osei eleh, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, boker yam lifnei Moshe, Zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai lo le'olam va'ed.
Who is like you, eternal one, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, doing wonders?
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukkot shalom acha v'taknenu b'etzah tova milfanecha ve'ushienu leman shemecha.
May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May night spread over us a shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest, some of which we could use. There will come a time when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish. There will come a day of happiness, of contentment, and of peace. Praise be the source of joy within us for the night and its rest, for the promise of peace.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah V'almad yivrach chirutei V'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon v'yomechon V'chayed chol Beit Yisrael B'agala u'v'zman garim v'immeru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lam le'amaya yitar. וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה על שמי לקודשה. מן כל מחתה ושירתה. דוש מחתה ונאמתה ועלמא ועלמא ויאמרו Amen.
We now prepare to rise for our tefillah, our Avot V'Ima Hope prayer, which can be found in the front insert of your prayer book, if you would like to follow along. We pray out together a special connection between our God and each of our mothers and our fathers, and certainly we look for our own special connection.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGivor HaNorah, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasei Avot V'Imahot, U'mevii Gilva Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo V'Ahavah. Zochreinu lechaim, Melech Haaretz v'chaim, v'choreinu b'sefer ha'chaim, למעלה אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
Amen. We remain standing as we continue with our Givurot back on page 31 in our prayer book.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומזהיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידה מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, מי כמוך בעל רחמים, הרחמים, זוכרים צורה לחיים ורחמים, ונאמנת לך חיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Great is your might
O Lord,
in this world, great is your power in the worlds beyond. Your love sustains the living. Your great compassion is the source of life. Your power is in the help that comes to the falling, in the healing that comes to the sick, and the freedom you bring to the captive, In the faith you keep with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, O mighty one? Who is your equal, author of life and death, source of salvation?
Who is like you, source of mercy? In compassion you sustain the life of your children. We trust in you to restore our life. Blessed is the Lord, source of all life.
אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש וקודשים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy declare your glory day by day. Please be seated.
Then the just shall see and exult, the upright be glad, and the faithful sing for joy. Violence shall rage no more, and evil shall vanish like smoke. The rule of tyranny shall pass away from the earth, and you alone, O Lord, shall have dominion over all your works, as it is written. The Lord shall reign
in Zion from generation to generation.
Hallelujah.
Kadosh atah, v'norah shemecha,
There is no God but you, as it is written. The God of all being is exalted by justice. The Holy is sanctified by righteousness. Blessed is our God, the Holy Sovereign. We continue on the next page. In love and favor, O God, you have chosen us from all the peoples, hallowing us with your mitzvot. Our sovereign, you have summoned us to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, O God, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt.
Our God, God of all ages, be mindful of your people Israel.
On this day of remembrance, and renew in us love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace. This day remember us for well-being. Amen. This day bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day help us to live. Amen. We continue on the top of page 36.
Be gracious, O Lord our God, to your people Israel.
That's right.
You can read it.
Go ahead, read.
No.
Then you might as well sit, because it's long.
Okay. Be gracious, O Lord our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may your worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion.
Blessed is the Lord, whose presence gives life to Zion and to all Israel. Sorry. Don't apologize. Thank you.
To
We continue on the top of page 37. We gratefully acknowledge that you are the Lord our God, and God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the miracles which are daily with us, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness, your mercies never end. You are compassion, your love never fails. You have always been our hope. For all these things, O sovereign God, let your name be ever exalted and blessed, and let life abundant be the heritage of all the children of your covenant. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise.
Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. V'tov einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Echol et ufol sham b'shlomecha. B'sefer Chaim meracha v'shalom. Meracha v'shalom. Nisachiv anichotem lefanecha. Anachnu v'chol amcha b'et Yisrael. L'chaim tovim u'shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom.
We continue now with silent prayer. We prepare now for our Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu is both a grand prayer and a humbling moment. On this night of return, let us find the humility to come close to God, to open ourselves to the eternal presence. For you are absent only when you fail to make room for you, and our hearts distant only when we turn away from you. Now, as others have done before us, let us overcome doubt and hear these words of affirmation. We call you Avinu. As loving parent, forgive our wrongs and our failings, accept us in our human frailty. We call you Malkeinu. As sovereign of our souls, help us to rise from our brokenness to build a world of shalom, of peace, and of wholeness. To this vision, we offer ourselves anew. We continue now on page 40. Please rise as we pray responsibly. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu.
Our Father, our King, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu Chatatnu Lefanecha.
Our Father, our King, we have sinned against you.
Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Va'al Ol Aleinu V'tapenu.
Our Father, our King, have compassion on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Dever Becherev Bera'av Me Aleinu.
Our Father, our King, make an end to sickness, war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Kol Tsar Umastin Me Aleinu.
Our Father, our King, make an end to all oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu Kodvener V'Sefer Chayim Tovim.
Our Father, our King, inscribe us for blessing in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Our Father, our King, let the new year be a good year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu Harem Kerem Yisrael Amecha.
Our Father, our King, give strength to your people Israel.
Avinu Malkeinu Chanenu V'Anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim Asei Imanu Tzedaka V'Chesed V'Hoshi'enu.
Our Father, our King, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Banenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim, Asei Imanu, Tzedaka V'Chesed, Asei Imanu, Tzedaka V'Chesed, V'Hoshi'enu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Banenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim, Asei Imanu, Tzedaka V'Chesed, Asei Imanu, Tzedaka V'Chesed,
I'd like to invite up Gil now to lead us in our Kiddush, which is on page 42. So we're going to remain standing briefly, but you'll get to sit down soon, I promise. All right, so take your, that's right. You know, pick up your one and just read the blessed.
Blessed is the Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Amen.
Blessed is the Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen us from all the peoples, hallowing us with the mitzvot. In your love, O Lord our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from all peoples, consecrating us to your service, and your word is truth eternal. Blessed is the sovereign God, ruler of all the world, who hallows the house of Israel and the day of remembrance. Blessed is the Lord our God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, את יום הזיכרון הזה, יום תרועה מקרא קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל עמך אמת, וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל ביום הזיכרון. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
L'chaim.
Thank you.
Please be seated. When you enter a rabbinic search, you never know for sure what is going to happen. First, you apply to several congregations that sound intriguing on paper, and next, if you're lucky, you get the opportunity to meet and talk with a number of those congregations on the phone. The congregations that you make a connection with often hold a FaceTime interview next with the search committee. And then if you pass that stage, you might fly out to the congregation, have more interviews, and perhaps a chance to share a teaching. It's an intense process for both the rabbis and the congregations. Some people compare it to dating because when it comes down to making the final decision, you're really just taking a deep breath, looking into your heart and asking, does this match feel like it's the best fit? Then, of course, you have to hope that you and the congregation have made the right choice as you say goodbye to your friends and former congregants, move across the country, and start a new job and a life. Our journey together started over 20 months ago when I first read about B'nai Israel online. It had its highs and its lows, but looking back, I can safely say that my most prominent emotion is an overwhelming sense of gratitude for each and every step along the way. And today, my heart and soul are bursting at the seams to have made this incredible covenant with B'nai Israel here on Long Island, so close to the water, so full of honest and passionate people. You are an amazing congregational family that recognizes the truest sense of welcome, of warmth, and of Jewish community. I am enormously thankful for the start of a new journey. I feel gratitude as I witness the love and passion that each and every lay leader brings to the congregation. When I feel the special welcome you can only feel when entering these doors, and when I experience the warm embrace that so many have offered, I am grateful to be sharing the pulpit with an amazing cantor and partner. I am filled with gratitude for our volunteer choir who has devoted their time and energy to elevate our High Holy Day services. I am eternally grateful for the compassion and dedication of the two presidents that I have had the honor to work with. I'm grateful for the leaders and sages who have come before me to help make this congregation what it is today. Thank you to all who are here, coming from near and far, North Shore and South Shore, East and West, out of state, in-state, members for 40 years, 20 years, 5 years, or even our newest members, all of you. Those from conservative, renewal, Orthodox, Reconstruction, Reform backgrounds, those who are just Jewish, those who grew up outside the faith of Judaism, and those who are visiting with a friend. I'm grateful that we're together, and for all that you add. Thank you, and I am grateful, are simple yet very powerful words. Sadly, instead of becoming a common part of our day, they're often forgotten or said as a reflex rather than an intention. Gratitude is an enormously uplifting and affirming emotion, one that seems appropriate to Our Jewish New Year is a time not only to celebrate, but also to acknowledge the blessings that are present in our lives. In Judaism, we refer to this value as hakarat hatov, noticing and acknowledging the good in our experiences. There are blessings around us every single moment of every day. Practicing gratitude means being fully aware that this benevolence is already ours. Rosh Hashanah is a time when we set goals and hopes for the coming year. Gratitude should not only be on our list, but the number one item. Gratitude can lift depression, help us sleep, improve our diet, and make us more likely to exercise. And on an even deeper level, it connects us. Gratitude, according to Scientific America, is the best predictor of well-being and good relationships, overtaking hope, love, and creativity, just to name a few. Gratitude helps us to become more empathetic and to relate more deeply to those around us. Gratitude is indeed remarkable, but I'd also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that extremely difficult situations like the loss of a child, the onset of a deadly disease, a traumatic divorce, grief or depression due to difficult circumstances, can make gratitude and wonder feel like an alternative reality. It's difficult to feel thankful when we are sad, lonely, mourning, or in pain. And it's hard to imagine, but this is when gratitude can be the most healing. While it will not erase our pain, gratitude has the potential to add a flicker of hope, a new thought, and an idea that might bring a little extra light to a dark reality. It can be difficult to know where to start when considering how to become more grateful. One helpful approach can be found in the book Thanks 1,000, A Gratitude Journey by author A.J. Jacobs, who decides to take an even deeper look into gratitude after having a conversation with his son at the dinner table. At each meal, A.J. had the custom of thanking those who had contributed to bringing the food to the table. However, as his son noted, those people couldn't hear them. Who is he really thanking at that moment? So A.J. sets out to thank everyone who has made his simple cup of coffee possible. In doing so, he discovers a complex set of actions and people, and by his count, just over 1,000 who make that cup of coffee possible each and every morning. And he discovers a world of delight, wonder, guilt, and as he admits, a lot of caffeine jitters. Tonight, we'll follow his journey and the wisdom he takes from it so that it might inspire us to notice and take awe and wonder in our lives and to use our newfound energy to create more moments of gratitude. AJ's journey begins with the person he interacts with the most, the barista. After interviewing her, AJ learns that baristas get snapped at a lot for relaying orders incorrectly, for sometimes relaying them correctly, for creating milk foam designs that an 8-year-old didn't want. She got a teddy bear and wanted a heart. By customers who refuse to make eye contact, and by countless other people who are in a cranky pre-coffee state. I wouldn't know anything about that. Yet, despite these hardships, she still saw her job as bringing people to coffee and helping make their day a little brighter, like an usher at a church or a synagogue, leading her customers to an enlightening experience. This barista was getting ready to leave her job because her parents needed her, and she had recently had a horrible accident, making it difficult for her to stand for long periods of time. She told AJ that she would miss the regulars and the special interactions, but not the customers who treated her like a machine or who simply regarded her as a means to an end. AJ classifies this experience as a look-up moment. We should look up, make eye contact, and interact directly with those we encounter, wherever we might meet them. Look-up moments should be just that, a moment, a hello, a smile, and a thank you. We can and should show our gratitude by treating people with respect, creating room for a relationship to form over time. Judaism places great emphasis on meaningful human interactions and relationships. Martin Buber defines a meaningful connection with the divine as a deep human-to-human moment, one in which all of our energies are focused on one another when we hear, listen, and remain present. When we interact in this way, we find the holy and we encounter the divine. In our daily lives, this is difficult. We are often on smartphones or iPads or distracted by many details that we need to complete by the end's day. Taking a moment to put our phones away, to be present, and to look at the people who serve us is huge. I once asked a barista how he was doing, and he burst into tears because no one else had uttered those words to him all day. Looking up isn't just about the day-to-day interactions, it's also about noticing the beautiful colors on the trees and how they change. It's about noticing a sad or grumpy relative or friend, and it's about simply being present, not letting the world pass by. I know that this is difficult. I need a reminder to do the same every day. It takes diligence, mindfulness, and awareness, and it's tough to sustain. But like anything else, practice is key. And if we don't see the beauty, the hard work, the efforts around us, how can we be thankful? How can we take note of the awe that is present? Ed Kaufman, AJ's next interviewee, takes notion of finding awe in the moment and teaches him to extend it. Ed travels around the world to find the best coffee beans. He showed AJ how to taste the coffee. Apparently, there's a whole process. Apparently, also, if you do it well, you give it a long, loud slurp. That's right. You heard it here, folks. This is due to the fact that our taste buds are everywhere, and you want to make sure that you can catch as many as you can. AJ points out that this moment of savoring, something that we don't often take time to do, is so important to gratitude. We need to hold on to the precious moments so they don't fly by. We can't feel gratitude if we don't allow ourselves the opportunity to savor. I often tell B'nai Mitzvah or wedding couples to take a moment to make a mental snapshot of the day and commit it to memory, to appreciate the joy, the accomplishment, the community that is present to celebrate. It's so easy to wake up one day and wonder where our time has gone. We have to take time to savor the good stuff, whether it's a delicious cup of iced coffee, a budding flower, or a life cycle celebration. Another remarkable discovery that AJ makes along his journey is that there are people who spend their lives making decisions that few ever take note of. Consider the design of the coffee lid. Lids can come in various forms depending on how you open them. There's the pinch, the puncture, the peel, and the pucker. Coffee, Doug, the creator of AJ's Lid, says, is farm to face. The ideal lid doesn't interfere with your drinking experience. The lid should enable you to smell the liquid to flow out of the cup smoothly. I shared in AJ's astonishment in learning how much thought goes into the design of a coffee lid. This is an important reminder that there are small works of genius everywhere. There are people who devote their time, passion, and energy to bring us a lid that most of us take for granted or throw away. Judaism provides many tools that help us remember this truth. Traditionally, we say 100 blessings a day to search and uncover the wow and the wonder in the mundane. Our morning blessings remind us to be grateful for the ability to rise, to sit, and to get dressed. In addition, these prayers remind us to thank God for the blessings of peace, rain, and health. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel takes the notion a step further and argues that we need to live our lives as if everything were a miracle. He writes, humankind will not perish for want of information, but only for not taking the wonder in everything. We have to live life as if everything is a miracle. AJ continues to find wonder as he meets more and more people. The barista, the bean biter, the founder, the coffee grinders, the stainers, the coffee tool creators, the water inspectors, the dishwashers, the plumbers, the logo designers, the lid makers, the bean movers, the truck drivers, the coffee sleeve makers, the paper cup manufacturers, the roasters, the packers, the farmers, the truck company, the truck makers, the packaging manufacturers, and so on and so on and so on. It's amazing to think how connected we all are. At the dinner table one night, one of AJ's kids asked, but how can everyone be connected? What about Beyonce? Is she responsible for getting you your coffee? AJ answers, well, one of the truck drivers or factory workers might listen to Beyonce while working, so yes, we are more connected than we know. Our ability to affect the people around us with a simple act or a caring and sincere thank you is enormous. And we do all rely on one another through the work that we do and how each task and piece is connected like a giant world jigsaw. In addition, as AJ notes, we overemphasize individual achievement when in fact almost everything good in this world is the result of teamwork. We are stronger together. This is not to say there aren't critics. As AJ notes, one of the most common criticisms of gratitude is that it might generate a passive complacency or fuel a resistance to create positive change. However, he discovers the opposite was in fact true. AJ notes that as he becomes more aware of the exploitation and challenges that people face on the supply chain, he became more empathetic and more motivated to help. The research he did backed up his experience, showing that the more grateful we are, the more likely we are to help others. Gratitude makes us want to pay it forward. Imagine if we were to see our service tonight in the same way that AJ saw his cup of coffee. To think of each individual who made it possible for us to be here tonight. The parents, grandparents, mentors, and colleagues who inspired us. the doctors who monitored our health, the people who created our clothing, the construction workers who created and placed the asphalt on the ground needed to reach the building, the countless leaders and individuals who have came before and made our synagogue amazing, the rabbis, sages, and writings that created the prayer books that we use, the office and custodial staff who work to set up the building, print the tickets, order our supplies, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. When we think of the world in this way, we find authentic and deep gratitude and a path to a more fulfilling life. In a world where we can sometimes feel alone or helpless, this year let's actively invite more moments of awe and gratitude into our lives. Then we might recognize that not only do we have the power to change our perception of reality, but the reality itself. We can and should actively affect the world around us. As we enter this new year together, may we embark upon a journey of gratitude as a B'nai Israel community, and may we always help one another lift up the blessings that permeate our lives. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Shema Tova, Happy New Year. Now that you've had a good rest, that hopefully you're grateful for, we're going to continue back in our prayer service on page 43 with Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu l'shaveach l'adon hakol, la'atei kedula le'otzer b'reshit, shelo asanu k'lei aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo asam helkeinu kahem, v'kol aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please be seated. You spread out the heavens and established the earth. You are our God, there is none else. In truth, you alone are our ruler, as it is written. Know then this day and take it to heart. The Eternal One is God in the heavens above and on the earth below, and there is none else. We therefore hope,
O Lord our God,
soon to behold the glory of your might. Then will false gods vanish from our hearts, and the world will be perfected under your unchallenged rule. And then will all acclaim you as their God, and forsake the evil, turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every tongue must swear loyalty. Before you eternal, let them humble themselves. To your glorious name, let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your kingdom, that you may rule over them soon and forever.
for the kingdom is yours, and
Into all eternity you will reign in glory, as it is written,
the Lord
will reign forever and ever.
Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
At this sacred moment, we turn our thoughts to those who've gone from life. We recall the joy of their companionship. We feel a pang, the echo of the intenser grief when first their death lay before our stricken eyes. Now we know that they will never vanish, so long as heart and thought remain within us. By love are they remembered, and in memory they live. O God, grant that their memory may bring strength and blessing. May the nobility of their lives and the high ideals they cherished endure in our thoughts and live on in our deeds. May we, carrying on their work, help to redeem your promise that life shall yet prevail. Our congregation is in a period of Shiva for Judy Weisblatt and a period of Shaloshim for Daniel Baer and Stanley Post. If there are other names to add who we are remembering, I invite you to share them at this time. I will not call on you individually, but rather I'll just ask you to say the names out loud as my hand reaches your general direction. Rachel Ravi Poffer. We keep these many names in our hearts and our thoughts as we turn to Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish on page 45. I invite you to rise if it is your custom to do so. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divra fruute v'amlech malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon Uchaye kol Beit Yisrael, Bagala ubizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehesh me'raba m'barak le'olam l'mei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudesha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da amiram v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say together, Amen. Please be seated. I invite up Alice Lambert to share an important announcement about our food drive.
Here I am again, in front of you as we welcome in a new year. First of all, I want to thank you for your extreme generosity over the past year. Whenever the call has gone out for support, you have stepped up to help, and it has been greatly appreciated. Your donations for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk, which comes up again next month, have increased yearly. Your donations to our 3 blood drives a year have helped save many lives. Your donations to the Wounded Warrior Project last Thanksgiving were overwhelming. The food donations to the veterans' homes are always appreciated. And these are just some of the things that we do to help other people. You also make donations to the Sayville Food Pantry throughout the year. Last year, Justine Coverdale, the director of the food pantry, passed away. Mike and I went to her wake and met most of her family. This past winter, the pantry was renamed in her honor, and I was invited to the dedication ceremony because they are so thankful to B'nai Israel for all the donations that we bring to them throughout the year. It was truly my honor to attend with her family and the town representatives. I was so very proud of all of us and our goodness and our selflessness. Suffolk County is one of the wealthiest counties in the country, and sadly, there is still a huge part of our local population that is homeless and or living below the poverty line. There are people starving right here in this county, Even within our congregation, there are families that are in need of food, money, and clothes. So once again, I am asking you to take one of our little plastic bags when you go home tonight and bring it back over this next week of holidays filled with nutritious, non-perishable food. The bags are really sturdy, so they really hold a lot of food. We also welcome food cards to local supermarkets to give to families in need. If you are unable to shop for food, Rich Lindner has cards for Stop and Shop and Best Market, and he will gladly make them available to you over the next weeks or whenever you are at Temple. So once again, I am asking you to dig as deeply as you feel you can and think of all those local families who so badly need the food that you can donate. I know that you will come through, just like you always do, and you will feel good knowing how your generosity helps to ease the hunger of others. Thank you in advance for your caring and for your sharing. And from my family to yours, happy, healthy, and peaceful New Year.
We're now going to conclude with Adon Olam, which can be found on page 47. And I believe we will be singing 1, 3, and 5. And what? There's something else?
Those are the verses. The
Yes.
choir has more verses, so I have to tell them 1, 3, and 5. You have all of it in your book.
Yeah, so it's roughly, it's the first verse, roughly somewhere in the middle, and then 4 lines from the bottom. That's 1, 3, and 5.
Taste of Adon Olam.
Adon
Olam asher mala b'terem kol yitzir nivra ve'et nasa b'chetzocho azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra ve'hu echad ve'sheni ve'hashilo ve'ha'ilo ve'ibnaitim ve'izachit ve'lo yaos ve'lo yitra ve'lo yitra ve'yaglo akiduchi ve'etishan ve'ayira ve'imruchi ve'liati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira. We now have a brief concluding blessing, just one more thing before you're able to leave our synagogue, hopefully in joy and peace and celebration. If you'd like to stand up and gather together, you can. You can remain seated, whatever is more comfortable. Certainly do not leave people out who are here. Make sure to include them and invite them. Our God and God of all ancestors, eternal God of the generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirit and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. May it be a year full of gratitude. Shana Tova Tikatevu, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. Amen.
Amen.
I heard nothing. Tomorrow I'll bring you nothing, so I can tell you. Yes. Can I help you? I got the gist. I got the gist. Okay.